Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer. Say, what did the witch say to her victim while she was waiting? Bewitch you in a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Whirling Witchcraft from AEG. Hello everybody, we'll get back to the review in just a second. I just want to take a moment to ask you to go ahead and check out and subscribe to my other channel, that is Cody Carlson PhD, where we talk about military history and books on history and fun things like that. Please check that out, please subscribe, and now, back to the review. In Whirling Witchcraft from AEG, 2 to 5 players attempt to become the most powerful witches of all by gaining the most ingredients in their cauldron. Essentially, each player is going to receive a little cauldron. This is a 3-dimensional cardboard cut out of a cauldron. Say that 5 times fast. And you're going to get a player board which has spaces for the different colored ingredients you're going to be using during this game. There's a lot of different, I think about 5 different kinds of ingredients, different colored cubes that are going to be in play. And you're also going to get a card saying what kind of witch you are. Now initially you're going to use initiate cards, which is just the beginning level, and that's going to tell you how many cubes you start with on the back side. And then as the game progresses, you're also going to get the more powerful witches that have some unique abilities that will help you during the game. Now, players are going to have recipe cards. They're going to start out with 5. They're going to select 1. And then what you're going to do is that's going to say what you can kind of convert some kinds of ingredients into other kinds of ingredients. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead, you're going to play that. You're going to place your ingredients on the top of that, and they will turn into the other ingredients, the different ingredients on the bottom. You're going to go ahead then and put those ingredients on the cauldron that you've created. The ones that you put out there, you're going to return to the general supply. Then when your turn is over, you're going to go ahead and pass your cauldron to the player to your right, and you're going to pass the 3 cards, recipe cards you didn't use, to the player on your left, and draw a new recipe card yourself to bring your hand up to a total of 4. Now, when you receive a cauldron that has ingredients, you place those ingredients on your player board where they would go, according to the specific color. Now, if ever you get more ingredients than you've got spaces, then you return those ingredients to the player who handed you the cauldron, and they place that in their own special incantation area on their board. And essentially, that's how they score points. So players go around and around. They are putting new recipes out there. They are deciding which ingredients they're going to use in order to create what kinds of ingredients in order to hand to their cauldron to give to the player to their right. They're also, of course, returning, if they've got too many ingredients, they're returning some of them to the player on their left, and they are, of course, cycling through these recipe cards, using different recipe cards as the game progresses. But also, when you play a recipe card, you also have these different arcane symbols. These arcane symbols will force you to move those things along the arcane track. And there's different things that these arcane symbols can do. Now, when you move the arcane symbols to an even number, 2, 4, or 6, then you can activate them. If you move the cauldron, then you can pick one ingredient from the general supply to put in your cauldron that you will be moving to your right. If you move the raven to an even numbered number, then you can go ahead and take 2 of your ingredients from your workbench and place them back in the general supply. If you get the book, if that goes to an even number, you can go ahead and take 2, I believe up to 2 ingredients from the general supply and put them on your ingredients card as though they were from your workbench. So as I say, you're going around and around. You are creating these recipes. You're passing your cauldron. You are hoping you get some of those back that you can put in your little incantation spot, and you are taking advantage of the different arcane symbols as they move along your board. You continue to do this until one player gets 5 of his points back into his spot. If he gets 5 points, if he's the first and only person to get 5 ingredients back into his incantation area, then he wins the game. However, if there is multiple people, then whoever has the most of certain colors will win the game. So again, you go ahead, you get those points, you put them in your incantation areas, and whoever has the most, or whoever has 5, and the only one who have 5, will win Whirling Witchcraft. So I got to tell you, Whirling Witchcraft is one of those games that, you know, AEG sent it to me, the good people at AEG sent it to me, and honestly, I was not expecting a lot from it. The theme did not thrill me, and it just didn't sound good. I actually put together the three-dimensional cauldrons, and I thought, this is kind of gimmicky, and I was not particularly impressed with this game. I read the rules. It didn't seem like there was that much to it. Was not really expecting much. And then we actually played the game. And what I found is this game is tremendously fun. It is a simple game. It is a quick game, but there's a lot to it. You choose that witch at the beginning. I think you get 2, and you choose one of them. That is going to give you some very important advantages throughout the game. You're also going to go ahead and when you choose the recipes, you're doing the drafting every round, you're choosing the recipes. That is incredibly fun as well. And you're trying to strategize, how can I overload the guy to my right? If I can overload the person to my right, then I'm going to get those points back. That's what I'm trying to do. At the same time, how can I screw the player on my left? How can I try to, if my resources my ingredients are getting up to their limit, how can I find ways to get them down? How can I use those most effectively to get rid of them? Ideally, you're going to want to have converters or recipes that are going to convert the resources you have a lot of into the resources that your neighbor has a lot of to your right. That's ideally how it's going to play out. It doesn't always work out that way, but it's really fun. It's unexpectedly fun for as light, for as simple, and as quick as this game is. Now, the only real criticism I have here is your kind of player aid, which is helpful when you're learning the game. After you've played it a while, you got it. But when you're learning the game, the player aid, it is the reverse side of the player aid that is where you move your arcane tokens. And so it's never useful to have a component you have to have face up that you have stuff on when you've got the player aid on the other side. That's a really bad call, AEG. I'm really disappointed in that. But that's the only negative I've got for this game. This was surprisingly fun for what it was. Surprisingly, like I say, packs a punch, a pretty big punch for what I expected from this game. Putting this on the shelf of pleasantly surprised games. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to keep this game. It's not that I don't like it. I probably ordinarily would keep it. But as much as I liked it, George really liked it. In fact, he kept insisting, let's play it again, let's play it again. So we played it several times because he kept wanting to play it. And he really got a kick out of it. And because he liked it a little bit better than me, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to give this one to George. But I really like it, and I'd be happy to keep it on my game shelf otherwise. So, no-brainer. Buy it. You're going to have a lot of fun with Whirling Witchcraft. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We'd ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. I'd also ask you to check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about military history and books on history and fun things like that. Please check it out. Please subscribe, and please give a thumb to this video on Board Game Geek. That helps us out a lot as well. You know, ladies and gentlemen, have you ever heard that story about the girl from the wrong side of the tracks who cast a spell and made $1 million? It's a real rags to witches story.
Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
If there were 8 Borg from Star Trek, and then you got one more, and his name was Ernest, his full name would be Ernest Borg 9.